Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another Sidequest episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast, usually reviewing games in the Game Pass collection. But it's coming up to the end of the year. Well, per usual, we have to do our end of the year recap. Oh, and what a year it's been. We have played a lot of games. We've played a lot of great games. We've played a lot of crap games. But we're here to talk about, some of the games. I'm your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. With me, our moderate gamer, Keith.
Hello.
And our new noob who's kind of taking the place of Liz, Aaron.
Thank you so much for having me as a guest on this show.
We'll get you on the cover at some point.
No, I'm just a guest.
Some people are obviously still asking where Liz is. She's still going to pop in every once in a while, but Liz really just, has really kind of taken a backseat to this podcast. She's actually starting a new endeavor.
Which, by the way, guys, when you keep asking for her, it really hurts my feelings. Because that means if you miss her, I am the one that replaced her. So that really hurts my feelings. So you should think about your words next time you say, when is she coming back?
And make sure you ask for Liz a lot more.
Really hurts.
Unless you want, Keith gone and Aaron and Liz to stay.
That's not what they're asking. They're asking specifically about her, and I was the replacement.
I mean, that could be your New Year's resolution, people. Tell us, what host do you want to be more on?
Yeah.
Less of Aaron, probably.
Probably.
Spoiler alert, it's Andrew.
Andrew gets kicked out.
I mean, fine. That's what people want. But, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of our wonderful fans. Thank you all so much for just listening, tuning in. It means a lot to us. We've apparently talking about a little bit of our Spotify recap. Spotify came up with this ingenious idea of their recap. It's literally them admitting, hey, we're tracking everything you're doing, but it's really fun that we're doing it. And people do eat it up. It's literally like a global event. People constantly sharing their raps.
Look forward to it every year.
I did too.
I mean, you literally see celebrities, politicians. Everyone's like, oh, this is my Spotify rap. But so I just wanted to say this year we had 268 people. We were their number one podcast, according to Spotify.
It's wild.
It is. So thank you all so much. 1.4 people apparently were their top 10 show.
1.4?
Yeah, 1.4 thousand.
Oh, I think.
Thank you.
1.4 K.
I was like, just use this one.
Not even a full 2 people.
But yeah, we apparently are also the top 99% for most comments on a podcast too. So
keep them coming.
Way to go, us.
Please keep it coming. I love hearing from our listeners. I try to share it with you guys, with Aaron and Keith. I'm the one who always ends up kind of reading them and seeing it, but I try to obviously share it to the guys here.
And again, 9 times out of 10 is, when is Liz coming back? That hurts.
But I want to give a quick shout out to Ren. They wrote on our comments that, we were their number one podcast for the year. So thank you so much, Ren. If we were on your list, please tell us. We'd love to hear. Always love to hear from our fans. But so this year we obviously talked a lot about games. So we, of course, wanted to give out our awards, the real awards, because obviously the Game Awards just happened. And man, the Game Awards is always so funny because people always get so salty about it.
I feel like there was a lot of positivity this year.
A good amount, yeah. Because, a lot of people like Claire Obscure, but I'm seeing a lot of people now online being like, this game won. Oh, my gosh.
I don't even think it's that. I think in years past, they were criticized for too many commercials, too many just ads. I feel like their reveals all kind of hit like a specific point for everybody. And at the end of the day, Claire Obscure is an underdog story. So I think there is still an appreciation that it swept like no one else ever has before, right? 9 awards?
Yeah, it was the record.
It's crazy.
No, and we're going to talk a lot about Claire Obscure, I'm sure. And but it really is rare that a game actually just does all of the things. Like it deserved all the awards it got. So it's
what I would argue.
Maybe and either way, but it's just one of those things that normally I would lean into it's kind of annoying when they just hammer, this is the game everyone's got to play, or they do it with movies sometimes. but it's maybe personally that I just agree with, but I feel like it hit. It had all the things.
The one category I would argue is it won best RPG, in which I know it's like a JRPG, but for me, like the game that also I really absolutely loved, and I think it should have gone to was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Because that is a more traditional RPG of you playing a character and things you're doing in the world are affecting the world. Like Clair Obscur doesn't do that. And so to me, I'm like, yeah, I think Kingdom Come should have won that category.
I'd agree. You're kind of splitting hairs a little bit there because
Yeah.
what are you? I get what you're saying, but what would you honestly? What genre would you put Clair Obscur in? I mean, it's an RPG.
You are right.
So
It's just for me, it's just Kingdom Come is a more traditional kind of RPG.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of get what where you're coming from. Like, if you are going to put those two up against each other and say which one's more RPG, yeah, Kingdom Come. But I mean, clearly, if one game was one of the best games of the year, it would probably win that category as well.
Yeah.
Splitting hairs.
I know. But anyway, as I said, people are more want to know what was our awards here. So if you're looking on our screen, I have a partial list that actually Liz drew up. Except for obviously the last one, you could probably tell is my handwriting. But yeah, we
It's
played a lot of games
illegible.
this year. Yeah, Liz is legible, while mine is not. But yeah, we obviously want to give our awards here, and I wanted to start off obviously with the best category, and that is of course what was our biggest disappointment this year. We have obviously played a whole lot of games. This is, like I said, only a partial list. This is like 2/3 of the game I think we played. Um, but yeah, there was a lot we played, but of course not all of it hit. Some of it was, you were expecting a little bit better. For me, I'm gonna first give up a couple runner up. The first runner up for me is Keeper. To me, a Keeper I was really expecting to be way better because I love Double Fine, and just Keeper just didn't do it for me. When by the end of like Keeper, I was just like, yeah, that was fine, but it didn't wow me, which just at the end just really kind of left me disappointed. The other one at the bottom of the list, Casting of Frank Stone. I love supermassive games, but Casting of Frank Stone, by the end of that game, I was like, that sucked. I was like, I did not like that game. I did not like its story. I didn't like where it went. It felt super flat. It didn't feel like what it wanted to be, like a typical supermassive game. But my number one choice, though, I got to give it to Watchdog Legion. As you can kind of see on the score here, I know that's kind of a top contender for a lot of us. I love Watchdog games, but Watchdog Legion was so boring. I did not like playing that game at all. That was a big disappointment. And like I said, I enjoy that series, and so I was like, oh, I'll get some fun out of it. It's an Ubisoft game, but just nothing about Watchdog Legion. I was like, to me, I felt like I was having a good time.
Yeah. So I would probably lean into, I think, for an honorable mention, if I'm going to start out with that, and it's probably going to be a little surprising, but I think this is the point of an honorable mention, is for me it would be the Doom the Dark Ages, and not necessarily that the whole entire game was bad. It was just that there was elements that, like, I think about like the dragon flying scene, or not scene, but level, and like little things like that was kind of clunky and weird, and the fact that the music just didn't live up. Like,
Yeah.
we've been talking about it all year. Like, it's unfortunate that it's fortunately unfortunate the year we've had with video game music, but at the same token, to be Doom and just make that not be your thing feels like a little bit of a disappointment for me. But truthfully, I think it's got to be gigantic. And I think it's because we had such a good time with it. And it's not even still that the game itself is bad now, and it's probably dead in the water now. But it was just that. It was like they came back with it. They said, hey, everybody needs to pay $20 for it. I know it went to Game Pass, but it was too late by then. And it wasn't in a playable state, and it was such a bummer because I was so excited to see that game get revived, and then to just not really be able to play it. That's got to be my disappointment.
One more mention now that because I forgot to look up the list, but I'm gonna piss some people off with this. But Metaphor ReFantasio, that really disappointed me. I was expecting that because I heard so many people that was a lot of people's game of the year before, but I did not care for Metaphor Fantasio. That game was so long, and by the end, I was like, I want this to end. I completely beat the game, and it just didn't hit me.
Yeah, I just knew I wouldn't like it. That's why it wasn't a disappointment.
No.
Yeah, so I do not have any honorable mentions here. I just kind of get straight to the point. But when we're talking about biggest disappointment, I mean, you guys kind of just alluded to it now. I wasn't going to put on a game didn't I didn't have any expectations for. I went specifically for a game I had high hopes for. It let me down big time because obviously I was not a fan of Stellaris this year. Um,
Crazy.
Some people would sit there and tell you I hated Blueprints, even though I didn't. Some would say that, and they're liars. But
I mean,
to
your
me,
score kind of reflects it too.
the biggest disappointment for me this year, what do I say about choose your own adventure games? They automatically start at an 85. Like in my head, I love those games. So they start at an 85. The casting of Frank Stone, I ended with a 67 on. That one was one of the biggest disappointments for me this year. Just because I automatically assume I'm going to like those games. I enjoy playing them. And that one sucked. It just sucked. I didn't really like much about it at all. You can go back and listen to that review if you want to, but that's got to be the biggest disappointment for me. That should have been an easy 85, 90, and it was nowhere near that.
Man, that is very true. Going to
Yep.
our next category, though, we obviously had the biggest disappointment, but what was the biggest surprise? What game did you think you probably weren't going to be interested in at all, but actually really hooked you? For me, starting off with a couple of honorable mentions, um, I'm going to start off with The Case of the Golden Idol. To me, the art style looked super weird. Like everything about that game, I was like, is this like a picture fine game? No idea what it was, but it was a super fun game. I actually really liked its story that it was doing. It was very relaxing. It was a cool, very cool puzzle game. Um, South of Midnight, I had decent expectations for, so this is why I wouldn't give it the biggest surprise because I was expecting to maybe kind of like it. But South of Midnight, I'll at least give as an honorable mention because I wasn't fully sure how linear it was going to be because they didn't, to me, when they were leading up to the game, did not show a lot of combat. So I was like, okay, is this an open world game? Is it linear? Like, is the combat just super flat? Which a little bit is, but it well makes up for its art style, its music, and its story. So I would definitely put that as a honorable mention. Um, but for me, I think. Oh, wait, one more honorable mention. Because I probably wouldn't give it. See, I'm tossing up to what I'd actually give the award to.
Pick a dang game.
Okay, fine. Quick other honorable mention was Blueprints. I like puzzle games, but I did not expect how much I'd love that puzzle game. For me, biggest surprise for me is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I liked Deep Rock Galactic, and they were like, hey, it's a roguelike game. I got so hooked on that game. I'm still playing it. I still pop it in every once in a while. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor really surprised how much I totally dug that game.
Dug that game.
Huh.
Yeah, you like that?
They dig in that game.
They do. That's
That's
great.
a thing you do.
That's,
wow.
that's so clever.
That is
But
cool.
well, I mean, you kind of threw me a curveball when you said a game you didn't think you were gonna like and you like, because to me,
That's literally the definition of biggest surprise.
no, a surprise can still just be a game that you didn't realize you were gonna like. Like, not because I didn't think I would. And so I'm just I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. So as far as my actual biggest surprise in terms of Andrew's definition of game I didn't think I was gonna like based on my outcome going into it, it's got to be Outer Worlds 2. From my experience in Outer Worlds, I was like, great, cool, we're doing this again. This is gonna be super fun. I'm gonna sit in 23 hours of load screens and have no fun, and everyone's gonna tell me I don't know anything about video games because I didn't like Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds 2 was awesome. It was so much fun. They fixed all of at least the biggest issues with the load times, and even with, the modern consoles not really needing those load times, just the more openness of the game, and it just felt smooth and fun, and I really enjoyed everything about it. But I am also going to give a second award because it's not an honorable mention. It's just in my definition of a game I knew I would like. I just didn't realize how much I was gonna like it. Was got to be Ball Pit, because that
Yeah.
game was just bonkers fun to me. It's not the greatest game ever. I knew I would like it because it's a roguelike. It's, a little kind of a bullet hell weird, that it's got me written all over it. So it wasn't a question of whether or not I was or wasn't going to like it. I just didn't realize how awesome it was going to be and how much I would like it. So those are my two biggest surprises of the year.
Yeah. Good job, Ball Pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it comes to biggest surprise, so again, a game I did not expect to like, but I ended up really liking. And keep in mind, none of the games I award tonight will get another win. This is the one
Wow.
win they'll get. Okay? So I believe I said this on the episode, but knowing me, I tend to play a lot of live service games. I'm huge right now. Just most of my time is spent on Battlefield 6 right now. Absolutely loving that game. And I'm not necessarily somebody who digs a lot into single player games. I'm also someone who really doesn't do a whole lot with JRPGs. So for me, the biggest surprise is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. When you tell me this game is coming out, it's very French, it's a JRPG. Those are two things I would say, no, thank you. Hard pass. I had very little expectations going into that. I thought the art
Aaron's
style
very
looked cool.
racist.
I thought the art
Apparently.
style looked cool, but I thought, man, this game is going to be just wacky for the sake of wacky, and boy, was I wrong. The story is excellent. The art direction is great. And it was just enough of a fine twist on a JRPG turnstile combat to make it enjoyable. So for me, this one is a very easy Clair Obscur wins biggest surprise.
See, I was tempted to put that as an honorable mention, but I expected me to like Clair
I
Obscur,
didn't.
but I'm surprised for. Do you have an honorable mention, Aaron? Because I feel like there was
No, Aaron's
for me
not
what I
doing
thought.
honorable mentions. He's too cool
I-
for him.
I'm not doing any honorable mentions, but if I were to give one out here, it would also go to Balatro. I kind of expected to not like that game, and I actually really did.
See, I thought for sure you were gonna say Silk Song.
Silk Song's up there. I'm not really doing honorable mentions, so stop forcing me to do that. Okay? I said no.
Aaron
Well-
just wants this episode to end.
I mean, I think that's really what it is.
I just don't want to just sit here and list off 15 games I liked. I want to get to the point. People want to get to the meat of it. What did you love the most? Not give me 5 other games you
If they
also
wanted
liked.
that, we could have just wrote it on a list and posted it online.
I mean,
Excellent
clearly
idea.
this is Aaron's first year-end review with us. It's like he's never listened to another one before.
I just feel so confident. I'm like backing my picks completely. Like I don't even want to like mix it and muddy the waters. I don't want somebody to go, well, I thought Balatro is actually better than that. That's not the point.
I mean,
I
well,
think this was the best.
you're already setting up that you're going to make people either angry or happy, because you've already told them your game of the year is not Clair Obscur,
You
because
better
it's not
believe
winning
it.
any
I
more
got
awards.
some wacky things coming.
Aaron's going to come up here and be like, I like Dredge. That was my game of the year.
I got some wacky things coming.
Now, for probably, in my opinion, what is going to be the hardest category of this year, because boy howdy, was this a good year for it. Oh, I got rid of the list. But that next category is best music. And man, we've talked about it in numerous episodes. I don't know what it is, but this year, just music killed. Like I feel like just about every year there's like, yeah, 1 or 2 games where I'm like, yeah, that was a good soundtrack. But this year, I felt like every week we're like, I saw a really good soundtrack.
It didn't matter if it was indie. It didn't matter if it was a bigger studio. Yeah, it just seemed like soundtracks were so good all over the place. Ironically, all but except for Doom.
The one that
Yeah.
should
Doom
have
the
been.
Dark Ages, the one where you're like, oh, it's known for its music, I think had a really, really letdown of a soundtrack, as Keith had mentioned earlier. But yeah, other than that, gosh, there's just so many to pick from.
For me, starting off for honorable mention, Halo Reach we did earlier this year. Halo music is always very good, but Halo Reach still, it's Halo music. It's still very good, very atmospheric. But to me, it wasn't the best soundtrack of the year. Another very close honorable mention that I was tempted to actually kind of give, because we talked about how great it was, but South of Midnight South of Midnight soundtrack was so cool. There's a couple songs to me that, as I said in the episode, which you guys roasted me for, to me just didn't hit as well. But South of Midnight is just, it's how clever the songs were too, just really gave it some good points. But for me, obviously, I got to give for the best soundtrack this year was Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. I am still listening to that soundtrack on Spotify. It is so good. It is so fun. I use it even to when I have friends over who are playing board games. Put up Expedition 33 soundtrack. It just fits. It works. But yeah, they did a fantastic job with that soundtrack, and I can't get enough of it.
This is a category that I'm going to go with Aaron on. The honorable mentions are ridiculous. It's just pick which one was your favorite of all of the really good songs. And Halo Reach, I guess, is the only one I can kind of give you because it might not be everyone's forethought, as it's, not a current year game, but wild. And I'm not a hot take, but for me, actually, South of Midnight is the one that is the music for me. And it's exactly the reason why Andrew, doesn't like it and thinks it's the worst soundtrack that's ever been made. I was quite frankly shocked to hear him put it in honorable mention. But it's the storytelling, and it's the way that it is just so atmospheric and perfect. And I don't want to say every way, but just in the way that it fits and pushes the story forward. I'm sure if I spoke French, Clair Obscur would tell a lot more of the story, but I don't. And the music is beautiful, and it is some of the best video game music I've heard. And this is where Andrew will get on his high horse about it. If I were to sit down and listen to one of the two soundtracks personally, I do think Clair Obscur is the better one to just listen to independently. But as the music encompassing the game itself and just being part of the game, South of Midnight was my pick.
Yeah, I gotta echo Keith on this one. South of Midnight, I think.
Really?
The
I'm
best
the only one who
soundtrack
picked
this year.
Expedition?
Well, here's the thing. Of one, I said I would not put two games in different categories. Okay, so I already said that. So South of Midnight, to me, the way that it interwove the storytelling into the game, the way how it worked in the boss fights, and the way it complemented the environment of the game, I think was just nearly perfect. I actually think you're not that far off in kind of comparing this to Expedition 33, and that they're very similar in kind of nailing their environment and tone. For instance, I think Expedition 33 does a very good job of making it feel very French. But it's also got some very odd sounds. Like the other day I was kind of looking at some clips and I forgot about, the part where you're kind of in the underwater world, and the music that's playing is just so weirdly unique.
It
But
sounds
again,
aquatic.
yeah, it like sounds aquatic. But again, when I sit there and compare these two games, I don't think they're actually that far different, because they both understood that the music should feel like the environment itself. And I think South of Midnight felt like the Deep Bayou. And I just don't know. I can't recall a game where I felt like the music nailed it, that environment, as good as it did. So that one, again, continues to stick out to me. And you can kind of even toss it into a surprise for me, because I didn't expect, looking at that game, that the soundtrack was going to do anything, but it hit me pretty early on. I was like, man, these songs are awesome. And the further I got in, the more I just kept coming back to, dang, this sounds great. So that's got to be it for me. That one just stuck out the most.
Yeah, and I kind of joked about it, but in all seriousness, there is something, at least in how it worked for me, that I didn't really understand any of the words in Clair Obscur, and I know that there is actual lyrics to those songs, but as I'm listening to the songs in South of Midnight, they're heart-wrenching, some of these songs. I'm like, dang, this is it was just hitting and really emotional, whereas you can absolutely feel the emotion behind the songs in Clair Obscur. Again, not taking anything away from it, just that's where for me I was on South of Midnight again, as stated.
Well, next category, we always change this a little bit every year. Sometimes it's best graphics, This year we're doing it as a best art style because obviously I don't know, when it comes to best graphics, it's always it's very subjective. Art style is obviously a bit more broad, and I think kind of conveys more of like what the game's going for a message. Um, One of the first honorable mentions I want to do is Transference. We talked about that game, a little bit of a horror game, kind of a VR game, but the art style in that game was really cool. It's very trippy. It had kind of different perspectives, kind of changed things around. Really dug it. I like that a lot. Um, what was the other one I wanted? I will actually put as an honorable mention Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I To me, it didn't win this category. I loved the art style of Expedition 33. It varies from very dark and gloomy to very bright and vibrant. It's all over the place and it just works every time. Like every area you're going to is very unique, feels fresh and very refreshing. But for me, what was the best for the art style this year is Keeper. I really liked Keeper. It had a really cool, almost claymation style to it. It looked just awesome. Obviously, like I said, it wasn't a very fun game, but it was a great game to look at. So I got to at least commend Double Fine for making an absolutely beautiful game.
Trying to think of Keeper because my first thought goes to South of Midnight because of the fact that they did a lot of claymation, didn't they? If I recall.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was
Sure.
real claymation. Was it?
That's what I wondered too.
Or was it just CGI made to look like claymation?
I
I
thought
feel
there
like the
was.
cutscenes were real claymation, but the actual gameplay was
I think
CGI.
I think that's what it was. I think the gameplay they kind of just did some funky things to make it look and feel sort of clay, but from what I could tell, it definitely seemed like the actual cutscenes were, and I just thought that was just such a cool feel to it because it still had a very like realistic CGI look and feel at the same time. It was just overall, I just there's something about it I really appreciated, and I liked all of, like the way that the models of the characters, like the enemies and the bosses you fought, were designed, and again, just with the way same with the music, it was part of the storytelling. Like the reasons you were fighting, the bosses you were fighting, were a direct result of something in the story, and I just liked that decision in how they kind of built everything in that world. I think I probably would just end up going with South of Midnight. I was trying to look through and see if there's really nothing else, maybe Blueprints, but I think it was just because I liked the environment really more than anything.
I mean,
Yeah,
that game is all environment.
well, yeah, no kidding. But I, that's not my point. I just liked the way that it was built. But yeah, South of Midnight that's art style. That's the one I'm going to give it to. It's 2 for them.
I'm kind of surprised at least Andrew didn't mention the one that I'm going to pick here. Listening to you guys kind of talk some of these things through, I kind of expected Andrew to mention this one. This was probably 100%. This could be a nostalgia take for me. So maybe this is what this is. But Indiana Jones, to me, was my absolute favorite when it came to art style because
Indiana Jones we did in December, so technically that was last year.
Did we do that in December? I thought we did that in January.
I'm looking right now. I have Spotify up. December 25th, 2024.
Dang, so it was right there at the end. I thought that was in January. Well, guess what? That technically, because you would have done the game of the year before that.
2024 review was on January 8th.
Son of a!
Actually, I think you were on that one.
Was I?
No, Liz was.
Yeah, I don't think I was because I don't think I was really a permanent. All right, well, I'm a permanent host now, so guess what? I'm picking that one because that one still is one of my. I still am blown away at how much that game freaking nailed the feeling of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
It feels like an extension of the movies. It blows my mind the level of detail in all of those levels. Even just walking around dusty old libraries looks freaking brilliant in that game. So yeah, okay, I'm grabbing this out of last year, but still worth it. So for me, Indiana Jones.
Good pick. even though it was
Love it.
last year. But I do agree that's a good choice.
Well, that would make sense then why you did not have that on your list.
Yeah, I was
Would
looking.
you have picked that, Andrew, if that was this year?
You might
I
have
probably
last
would've
year
given it an honorable
because I
mention.
think last year we did graphics, so you probably did.
Yeah, but we're not going to do journalistic integrity and look back at last
I
year.
wasn't. I'm just saying.
I'm
Probably.
going to make Andrew make the claim right now. Was that your number one game last year?
I mean, I would like my number one game
Graphics,
just gave the year.
graphics.
I do agree. Like, it probably wouldn't beat Keeper for me. Keeper still, like
Keeper
I said,
was a good choice. That's a sneaky good choice.
Yeah.
For a lot that was wrong in that game, graphically and art style for it, I was not one of its problems.
yeah.
I know that we had kind of talked about that when we reviewed it. You could see certain areas of the map that looked hand painted. Like
Yeah.
you could see brushstrokes on it, and I thought that was just freaking brilliant.
Which did you see? They just released. Well, I think for one, like colorblind sensitive mode for it, but also a monochrome mode. I guess they had built it as like either as like a joke or it was a bug, but people had actually been asking for it, so they were like, "All right, cool, here you go." I think they actually released it after the Game Awards.
That's
actually
kind
cool.
of interesting. Yeah, like monochrome
Because they
stuff.
would have
I
a
think
very
were,
like noir feel to it because of the way that like it's so focused on the light.
I could see that. I could see that being kind of cool. Interesting.
But no, I do, Aaron. What you picked is a very good choice because you are right. Like to have a game feel so much like the movie. Because I mean, I was also semi tempted to pick RoboCop because RoboCop is kind of the same thing.
That's a good point.
Where like it really kind of felt like RoboCop. It felt like you were this big bulking robot dude just shooting people.
It felt very much like the movie. It
Yeah.
like I feel like that's a difficult thing to do. So when games kind of nail that tone, it's hard to ignore that. And for me, that's I go back to Indiana Jones might be the best video or movie turned to video game that I've ever seen.
Because I mean, another category. I mean, we probably won't add it now, but we could argue of what category had the best performance. And to me, what was it? I forget the guy who did Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, he's in everything.
Yeah, he's in everything. Troy Baker.
Troy Baker.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job of acting like Harrison Ford,
Spot
acting
on.
like Indiana Jones. So like, the performance is impeccable. But anyway, but that's not a category we're doing. Next category for us, best multiplayer. Which Aaron, I didn't realize, Aaron, you actually didn't play many multiplayer Game Pass games with us this year.
Yeah, I kind of point that out to you. I said we didn't really play a lot of multiplayer games today, and you listed out some, and some I did not review. So my list is pretty small to pick from there, but I think I got a good one.
But so that's what I do. For me, I'm not going to do honorable mentions. I'm going to do my favorite multiplayer Game Pass game and then my favorite non-Game Pass game. So my favorite multiplayer Game Pass game I played this year, 33 Immortals. So good. Absolutely loved it. Me and Keith just did it. It was just in preview. So it was we didn't really give scores at the time, but I loved 33 Immortals. I loved playing with Keith and his friends, when we had a party going together, but I also play by myself. It's always multiplayer. You're always playing with other people running around the map. But 33 Immortals has so much potential. I still pick it up every once in a while. They just actually had another recent big update where they added 2 new weapons and kind of a bunch of tweaks and perk system. It's still a lot of fun, but I'm afraid it's going to die before it fully launches because you can tell there's not as much population on it. It definitely launched way too early into early access, which I'm afraid might hurt it, but do not sleep on 33 Immortals. Super fun multiplayer game. And my favorite non-Game Pass multiplayer game, Battlefield 6. Played a whole lot of Battlefield 6. It did such a good job. Battlefield to me, is a love-hate kind of, like the last Battlefield, Aaron obviously will talk about how much he loved playing it still. It just didn't hit as hard. Battlefield 6 is so much fun. Playing the beta, I wasn't actually planning on buying the game, but then I kept playing the beta, and then when the beta left, I'm like, I wish the beta was still going. I want to play it. So, fantastic multiplayer game. I haven't checked out Arc Raiders yet. I have a friend who's playing it a lot, and he keeps telling me I should do it, but I don't know. I'm not a big extraction shooter guy.
Side note, did you see the clips where someone created 2 separate accounts to intentionally play super aggressive and super passive? And they found it really seems to lean into that, which that's kind of cool.
Awesome. Because that's one thing I hate about extraction shooters is sweaty people.
That's the that's the best type of skill-based matchmaking, if you ask me, because
Yeah.
it's not really about skill, and in a game like that makes it that's not what we're talking about.
Sea of Thieves needs to do that.
Yeah, that would absolutely be a good thing. But anywho, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. I mean, it's funny because I just don't play a lot of multiplayer games in general anymore. But yeah, but I don't think there's really anything on the list that outside of 33 Immortals that I would pick because I agree
Gigantic would have been it if
it could have
if it
been, but
worked. Yeah,
if you recall from 30 minutes ago, give or
I
take,
know.
I told you that was my biggest disappointment. It's not going to be my
Yeah.
best multiplayer game. Uh, but no, I agree with you. And it's so weird to say, like, I do think that there is a piece of it that, yes, it launched too early, but usually when a game launches too early, it's buggy. It doesn't work. It's not fun. It worked. It was fun. It had a even really good amount of content to it at least in terms of, the amount of things you could unlock. It was really grindy, I guess you could argue, but it still had a pretty decent amount of it. To say it was too early feels weird, but given where they're trying to go with it, it absolutely is because now that they're ramping up to all this good stuff, it's hard to keep filling lobbies of 33. And obviously the game can be beaten and you get into it, it starts to whittle down anyway, so maybe that doesn't matter. But yeah, I hope it doesn't die. I hope that people listen to this, go play it, keep playing it, and keep the Steam charts up because I would like to see this game actually go through because this would be a fun achievement game. I feel like it'd be fun to collect. So let's get those achievements there. It's not Tectonica this.
Oh gosh.
Ah,
Why would
I'll
you
never get those
mention its
achievements. It makes you
name?
sad.
Never
Uh,
financially recover from this.
so when Anna and I were talking before this episode, we were talking about multiplayer games. He did remind me of one that I was like, okay, yeah, I actually had a pretty decent time with that one. So for me, the best multiplayer, I did not play a lot of them, was Rematch.
Oh, yeah?
Not necessarily a specific Game Pass game. It is kind of free to play, so it's kind of open to everybody. But it was one of those games that did make its way onto Game Pass because it gave you special rewards.
No, rematch is not free to play. Remember
Yeah,
we
because
talked about that.
Well, that's right. That one wasn't free to play.
Yeah, it's like a $30 game.
Yes. Okay. Because that was one of our knocks was it
Yeah.
didn't have a lot in there, but the gameplay itself was actually kind of decent fun.
Very fun.
Especially if you were a fan of Rocket League, this had a very similar feel to it, without the ability to drive up walls. Uh, so that one was kind of a surprise to me on actually how fun the kind of play to play gameplay was. Its meta progression wasn't very good. Its battle pass wasn't very good. I know that they've made a lot of updates to it since. I know that this game actually had some controversy at the Game Awards. There were a lot of people banking on this actually winning. I think it was nominated in 2 categories and it didn't
Best
win.
multiplayer I saw at least.
Yeah. And people were a little upset that this one didn't win it. That one I
I mean,
saw.
it's crazy. Like the nominees for best multiplayer, it's a hard list. Yeah, Battlefield 6, Arc Raiders, Rematch, Split Fiction, like all
Yeah.
of those were really good games.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just surprised that it's how many people I saw online complaining about this one not winning. So, yeah, just a good reminder. This was actually a good one to play. It's probably worth checking out again.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. Now, for the category everyone's of course been waiting for, what was your game of the year? So I'm not going to go through a lot of honorable mentions. I'm obviously going to talk about my game of the year. It was such a toss up for me uh, between these two, but at the end, I'm giving it to Clair Obscure Expedition 33. My other one, which I will give for Game of the Year not on Game Pass, is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. We obviously played a lot of great games. Like even when you look at the list, even at this Game of the Year awards that happened, for me, what also really sets Expedition 33 as to why it should win Game of the Year, almost all of the other nominees are sequels. You got Silk Song, you had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. What was the other? Well, Donkey Kong Bonanza is the other one that was a new one, but you could also argue that was a little bit like Super Mario Galaxy because it's from the same team. But a lot of the games that were nominated this year are sequels. But Expedition 33 is an original IP. It was a brand new studio. It's an underdog story, and to me, the game blew me away. Like I remember we talked about it when we recorded that episode. Like it ended up being easily at least in my top 10 favorite games of all time. I really enjoyed it because we talked about how it's a JRPG, and within just 15 minutes, I am so invested in the world, all the characters, and within about 30 minutes, the leash is completely let go. I'm able to explore the world and really play the game, which is very unusual for a JRPG. You usually get 2-3 hours of exposition dump and lore building, but not in Expedition 33. It's very much just this is what's going on. Go have fun. And it hit so well. The ending too, it just nailed the ending too. Because that's usually a big thing. Because Metaphor Refantasio did not do anything for the landing at the end. Credits rolled and I went, whatever. But in Expedition 33, it still lives in my head of just how good of a story was. Anytime I see clips of that game, I'm just like, I want to play that game again. Yeah, so for me that. And Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, real quick. I know Aaron's getting annoyed with how much I talk here.
I'm not.
I loved the first Kingdom Come Deliverance. It was definitely super buggy, definitely had issues. And I remember I got one of my friends into it because usually that game is hard to start. Usually takes about 2 hours or so till you're finally kind of seeing what the game's trying to do. To me, I was like, I just want the sequel to be this game just improved. I just want the combat better, things working in the city better, and that's what it was. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is so good. It was such a good RPG. I loved its story. I loved its character, and it's based on actual historical facts, like actual history. So it's just a great game. Absolutely check out Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot of time beating around this topic. There were a lot of really good games this year, but I don't really look at the list, and at least for me and my vote, there's not a lot that I would contest that like this is the game of the year. Maybe Balatro, just because I mean, why not? But at the same token, it Clair Obscur is the game that I have to give it to because it hit every single check mark. It was fun to play. The I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to repeat basically everything Andrew said, but in different words. But the story was fantastic. The characters are amazing. By the time you get to the end of the game, there's a new game plus, which I actually considered. A lot of times I won't do new game pluses, and I didn't on this still, but I considered it. But it gives you the ability to keep exploring. Again, something I don't often do once I've beaten the story of a game is continue going around and just collecting for the sake of collecting, because at that point, especially in Clair Obscur, there's kind of it's a skill thing. It really wants to just push your skills, and if that's what you want me to push, it's not what I want. But there's so many fun things to do after you wrap up the story, unless I guess you somehow do it all before. But you're generally going to have all this extra stuff to just keep exploring the world. If you really get into it, not my own theories or thoughts, but people can kind of explain, will break down how even the way you can play the post game fits into the two different endings, and it's kind of interesting. And I don't know if it was intentional, but it made it a more complete game, and it made it more of an experience than just a game playing. So it's a ton of fun. I don't need to tell you to go play it because you probably already have, and if you haven't, some 50,000 other people have already told you to. So that's just my opinion, and like it or don't, I guess.
I'm trying to convince Liz to play it because I know she will love
Just
SK.
have her play it on easy. It's nothing wrong. Oh yeah, she would love SKA. And what's his name? The little one, the little paintbrush guy. Can't think of his name.
Minoko or the actual Gestrel, which was
Gestural. There we go. Yeah, the one that it's Minoko. Yeah, the one that comes around with you.
well, Minoko's the big one. I thought you were talking about the little one. Oh, but yeah, Minoko.
All right. So I already said earlier, no game will get 2 awards tonight.
Blueprints.
That would be an excellent guess. So
Solaris.
I just said, you know what? what game did I just genuinely just enjoy and play the crap out of? There's one game that we played this year that I have played for 3.2 days worth of gameplay. Do you even have
Tectonica?
an, do you even have an idea of what that game would be?
Oh man.
3.2 days worth of gameplay on this one game.
Was this earlier in the year?
And I love every minute that I have played of that game.
Wait, is it a multiplayer
Assassin's
game?
Creed Mirage.
It's not a multiplayer game?
It's not a multiplayer game. In fact, when we reviewed this game, we kind of lamented the fact that it's not a multiplayer game.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Deep Rock Galactic Survivor.
Man, shit,
Actually, a good
game
pick,
of the year.
Between playing this on Xbox and between playing this on my PC, where I would literally sometimes play it at night, come out here the next day and just play it all day on my PC as well. I freaking love that game. And I said, I think it was the best version of a Survivor game I have ever played at this point. I just have not played a better one. And I said that I think Megabunk might get there someday. But as of now, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor to me had the most fun gameplay of a Survivor game and had the best meta progression of a Survivor game. Love it. Love it to death. And only wished that there was like more coming. Like I've kind of been keeping my eye open to see like, are they going to put like an expansion or something? Cause I'd be on it. I'd be all in on it. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to go a little wacky with it. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to pick the game I just played a crap out of. And that was it. For a game that's on Game Pass, that is. Obviously, I've played a lot of other things. Now, I have told you guys
Yep.
already what my probably honestly is my favorite game of the year, which is not on Game Pass, which is Dispatch. I when you talk story, Dispatch is up there as maybe one of the greatest video game stories I've ever seen.
Why? So I keep getting like something spoiled because I see a lot of people clip things. And it's just
Yeah.
like, if you're not playing the game, like obviously no one's getting this context. Like it's such a weird game that people keep clipping. Cause it's like, one, if I'm playing the game, I don't want to know that story. Don't clip that. And then as someone as me who isn't playing the game, I just go, okay, I don't get that. Whatever.
Yeah. Because I was in the same boat as you. Like, I saw a bunch of clips. I saw a lot of people talking about it. And so I was finally like, well, hey, it's a choose your own adventure game, right? That's automatically an 85 for me.
Oh, that's
Let
true.
me go ahead and give it a shot. And by golly, they just kind of nailed every character. There is maybe one or two characters that get a little shortchanged in it, but all the characters are so dang good. And it is a lot of watching. A lot of watching. But I didn't care.
So
I
is it
was
like 30 minutes
ecstatic
of watching, then you get to make a choice.
yeah, like a few choices would come up, but you would do a decent amount of just watching. But then the actual gameplay. You know how we kind of complain about these games where like, all right, yeah, but there's like no gameplay in it. You are actually doing your dispatch job. So the core of this is you dispatch a group of superheroes. So and they're the worst superheroes at the company. So they all just kind of suck. So as you're playing, jobs are popping up on this map and you're dispatching guys to those locations. And they're getting XP from it, which you then can upgrade their stats. And you kind of want to create this well-balanced team. Some jobs will allow you to send 3 people. Some will only allow you to send 1. And then some, they have a special power that's actually going to become really useful in that. So there is kind of like this fun balance. I had a ton of fun just playing that. Like I was like, man, if this was like a full game, I'd be into this. Just
check out This Is the Police then.
Does it have superheroes in it?
No, but you were doing police. And it's the same thing where you start off with like rookie cops and you send them to jobs. If you send someone who's too crappy, they could actually end up dying.
Yeah.
But you end up choosing, like, because some you're like, that doesn't sound like a real call. And you could end up wasting an officer going to a fake call.
Now, see that would be fun because that was, again, a gameplay mechanic I never expected to have.
Yeah.
Voices, there is literally not a bad voice actor in this entire game, which is surprising because there's a few streamers.
Yeah, I saw that. That also
YouTubers
kind
in
of
it?
turned me off.
But honestly, they're all pretty good. Aaron Paul is the main guy, so if you're a fan of Breaking Bad,
I thought that was him. It sounded like him.
yeah, he's the main character in the game. But there was a sequence that kind of kicks off the last third of the game. And it's kind of like this music sequence taking place kind of in your apartment. And I was like, this is just brilliant. It is, again, talking about music. The music was awesome. And it's just hitting on this scene. And I'm like, this is so cool. I can't believe that this game is as good as it is.
Have you beaten it?
Uh-huh.
Have you beaten it?
Yeah, I've beaten it. I'm going to replay it because I want to make some other choices.
How long is it?
Maybe 8 to 10 hours. It's 6 or 7 episodes. Obviously they're all done, but I want to go back because there's some achievements I didn't get because I made decisions to go the other way and not one. So there is like a main character at the end that I was like, crap, they didn't have a great outcome. And I was like, I wonder what I could have done to fix that. So I kind of want to go back and see what it looks like if I kind of focused more on that character. Gosh, it's so good though. It really is. I know you might look at it and go, but the story will hook you so fast. So fast, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm in. I wish it was a TV show. Like, I hate saying that because I actually do think the choices. The choices you make were actually really useful. Like, they weren't just a whole bunch of junk. They were actually really useful for how the game progresses. Highly recommend. Been my favorite game of the year.
So I'm guessing you don't have a ton of leveling up then, like in 8 to 10 hours. Like, not that matters. I'm just kind of it's not like a huge mechanic of it, but still cool.
Every episode, you have 2 shifts. So the story's happening, and then you do your morning shift, and then you have lunch, and then you do your afternoon shift. So there's story happening all in there. There are times like I made bad choices, and they probably they didn't get XP from it.
Gotcha.
So it could have been better. There is a point, again, no real spoiler. You basically have to fire one of the 2 people on your team.
I saw that clipped.
Yeah, so depending on who you pick there, kind of alters how the end will start to play out.
Makes sense, yeah.
But they all have special abilities, so you really do lose out on a person that has now a unique set of skills.
Yeah.
That the other person isn't going to have. So there's a choice where you get to hire one of 2 heroes onto your team. And again, those are choices like I would go back and try the opposites on those and see how they play out. Fun game. Really, really fun game.
Alrighty. Well, I think that should do it for us this year. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to add?
No, that was literally all I had to say. I'm out of here.
Yeah. So we did this obviously a little bit early because last time we did it like in January, but I'm very busy. Figured we end up wrapping this year up just a little bit early. I mean, I couldn't.
What else is going to come out? What if Game of the Year comes out this week?
Right.
What if Splitgate launches again tomorrow? That could be Game of the Year.
Splitgate 2 comes back out of beta.
It's called, yes, it is. And it's got a new name. It's not Splitgate 2. It's called Splitgate Arena Reloaded. I'm actually excited for it.
Splitgate 2.0.
I legit can't wait for it. So,
man, I watch that would be funny. Like this beats Expedition 33.
Yeah,
cancel
I have
everything.
to redo this episode and come back on here.
All right, but thank you all so much for a wonderful year. For all who tuned in, listened to us, we greatly appreciate all your support. Thank you. We enjoy doing this. We always love hearing from you. So please make sure you reach out to us. Go to GamePassGrabBag.com. You can find all the games that we played. In the corner, you can find a link to our Discord or our YouTube. Come by, say hi. We always love hearing from you all. But yes, I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird01952. Come on, you got to say something, both of you.
Happy New Year and Merry
Christmas. That's at least something.
I was gonna say if we don't do another episode, see you next year.
When's Liz coming back? When's Aaron leaving? I take it back. I hope you have a bad New Year. Whoever says that, I hope you have a bad New Year.
People really
Not
are thinking
bitter.
you just be this bitter person.
Not bitter.
All right. Love you all.
Bye.
See you again next year.